Well, here's a wonderful woman who interviewed me recently, and she was a teacher, retired, and actually found herself unhoused, right? It's homeless. And she put herself together and now is helping other people do that. And I interviewed with her, and we go over a lot of things that people don't realize. And we live in a society that has a big community portion. Sure, we're capitalists and everybody wants to get money, but we also have a section of our country that is community oriented. These are people that give you money when you're in trouble. These are people that give you money when you want to improve your life, and they never ask for money. Now, these are people like your church, right? They do that. But the government does that too. That's all the money they give, is you never have to pay back. It's not only that, but it's millions of nonprofit organizations too that are out there in the community to give you money and help to improve your life and get better jobs and housing and education and everything. Now, here's some things that you're going to learn here. Access to financial resources. That's right. I tell you all about these things, and these are all from the community society, not from the internet and not from Google. Stay out of Google. Increase your financial independence. That's why you don't make a lot of money. Well, there's other ways to do that, and government and nonprofits have options and money and help to make you do that. Empower advocacy. So in other words, you have to do for yourself. They're not going to come. It's not like capitalism finds you because they want to find you to get money from them. You have to find these people who are going to help you because they don't have money to find you. Okay, and also free help with better financial planning, improve your home in any way you want it, networking opportunities, find other people like you that help. And you learn from each other on how they get free money and help. Or how about this? Skills development. See, if you don't have skills in this society, you can't get a decent job. And you could get this giving society will train you for high-paying skills for free. They even pay you money while you're training. And access to technology. Learn that because you got to live with it forever. And actually opportunities for education and business. That's right. Anything you want. So watch her and me have fun trying to educate you. Her, me, and you.
Hello, folks. This is Unhoused USA, Conversations for the Future. I'm your host, Dr. Beth Fisher. And yes, I have lived experiences of being unhoused. Now let's get to our conversation. Oh, I am so excited. Oh, yeah, Matthew, let's go here. The question mark guy. I have watched you forever. Oh, I know this interview is going to be up here energy-wise. You don't need caffeine. Just open up this podcast episode. You are everything, Matthew. You're a household name. You have been on every show. You've sold over 4 million books. 4 million.
Yeah.
You've helped millions, not hundreds of thousands of people, but millions of people secure government grants. You are all over. And now you have a new community called Less. It's a platform aimed at empowering individuals to navigate government and access financial resources effectively. Thank you so much, Matthew, for joining us. It's going to be a great episode.
It's a pleasure. I mean, I cherish every second I have a chance to maybe educate somebody. You're a teacher, you know that. It is just, it grows your heart. I mean, helping people and educating people is a way to grow your heart. And at 81 years old, man, I got nothing that's going to get better. I mean, I'm not going to get smarter. I'm not going to get stronger. I'm not going to get faster. But I figure I could love harder. Say, that's one thing I could keep growing and get better at. I feel the more, and growing up in the 50s or whatever, my generation, men didn't even say love. I don't remember even anybody saying in my house. They were all nice people, but it just wasn't that way. And I thought, if I said love, I had to marry you. Maybe that's why I've been married 3 times. But it just, for your heart, is so important in anything. And I think even in choosing anything, because there's so much crap information out there, and it's a fire hose, and we're all trying to find out what works, and we want experts to tell us what works. And then we stop listening to our heart and giving our heart, which is the best stuff we have. And so that's what my work too now is not only, I mean, it's even more, I think it's needed more now because we have people in our country, 90% of the wage earners in this country have just are losing a piece of the pie. A share of the pie is getting smaller and smaller. And I think that's why people are so angry. Shit, it's not working for them. So they'll try anything new. And what I see is that we have a society that is built on capitalism. And I love capitalism. I got an MBA. And the nice thing about capitalism is that if you're doing something that is worthwhile to somebody, if somebody's not going to pay for it, why are you doing it? Because you think everybody should have it? Yeah. No, we're here to love other people and try to help other people. So if you think they should have something, that really doesn't matter. They have to have it. It's sort of like loving. You have to, you have to find out. I think loving somebody is helping them do whatever they want to do in life because we're all struggling so badly. Nobody knows what to do. We're guessing every day. I still do. And I don't know what to do. So I don't think it's, what gives the audacity of any of us to tell anybody else what to do in life. We don't even know what to do with our own lives. And so that's like, to me, if you love somebody, and I'm trying to do that with more and more people, is to help them do whatever they want to. Because they're struggling. They don't wake up. Yeah, I think I'm going to fall off this cliff. No, I thought about this hard, what to do. And your obligation to loved ones is to help them do. And see, what I feel, we have resources in our country that could help you do anything you want. But they're not in traditional ways. And that's why capitalism runs our country, okay? Now, that's great. But there's a section of our country, what I call community, that is also there. Capitalism is there to make money. So anything capitalism has, you have to pay for. And there's a big section of our society that doesn't have that money to do it. And they go to the capitalist society store, which is Google, and they go there, look for help, and it's all going to cost some money. Money. And they don't have money, so they feel they can't do something because it costs money. Well, we have this a third of our society is a community, and that's where people are helping people. You have churches, that's what they're about, right? Nonprofit organizations, government, things like that. That represents a third of everything in our country. And that's there to help people and provide money and everything. But nobody knows about it, and they go to Google and they get frustrated. They can't find anything. So they say, nothing's there for me. This country sucks. It doesn't. You just don't know how to use it. And we don't train people how to use it. The money is in the public sector, and it's there for everybody, no matter what income or whatever. We're never trained to do that.
Let's focus on what you're doing, which is Let's Go Help. The mission of Let's Go Help is to provide guidance and support to individuals seeking government grants. That's simple, clear resources and tools. You have a supportive community. You have regular Q&A sessions. You have updates and alerts, and you empower through knowledge. Matthew, why?
Why? Because I'm selfish. I figured it feels so good. I mean, it is. That's what people don't realize, I think, that giving is selfish. It's the most selfish thing you can do. I mean, it feels so good. What could be better than to love somebody as hard as you can or to give as much as you can? But we're not trained to do that or something. I'm not smart enough to know the answer to that, but I know when you do it, you feel fucking great. And that's what surprised me about this is not a couple of things. I keep learning every day, and that's why it's wonderful talking to you, to see and bounce off my ideas and see what it looks like. I look at your eyes more than anything to see what resonates and what do. I mean, I feel I could solve any problem. I just don't know the real question in people. It's sort of like a lover. It is a lover. A good lover doesn't have to be told what to do. You're speaking heart to heart kind of thing. That's what it is. If somebody has to be told how to be nice to you.
Keep on walking.
right? Yeah. So, and I think it's same with providing a service or anything like that, because none of us have the language to explain what we really need. And so you have to get into someone's heart or whatever inside, understand the needs so you can provide that answer for them. And it's all different from all of us. And I think that's why you could get help from other people and maybe little nuggets that may guide you, but your real answer comes from your heart. Because also, I feel anything is very difficult to do in life. Life is here to beat you up, no matter who you are, no matter how successful you are. You're just going to get beat up most every day. So you might as well get used to it. You know? And we try to avoid it because that's natural. It is, I think it just, but it stops so many of us. We think there's a magic answer and we spend all this money on experts and everything. Let's say the accident. I mean, look at how many diet books we have. I just read, do you realize 75% of us in the United States are overweight? I don't know if it's obese or what, but it used to be only like 50% 20 years ago or so. Man, and how many diet books we sell, right? They keep, and it just doesn't work. And that's why it has to come from the heart. And that's why I used to wear question mark suits, because I thought if you had the right question to ask, then you could get the right answer. But your heart has to be in it to make it happen. Because so many bad things happen, particularly if you're doing something new in life. It's like learning to walk or learning the computer. You don't just turn it on. Why I'm going to build an airplane on this computer. That you have to prepare for failure. And we're not. And so that's why I think taking advice from somebody who gives you a 5-step plan, well, you're going to fail somewhere in there. Yep. And what happens when you fail, then you'll just say, oh, that asshole, I knew he was wrong. And you go on. But if it comes from your heart, you want to do this, you'll get over that failure. It's like a personal relationship too. If you have something bigger, that you have in common instead of the asshole squeezing the toothpaste in the middle.
There you go. So you have incorporated hearts into your clothing now.
Yeah. Yeah. And actually, and just in the last, I've only been doing Let's Go Help for a few years now. And now I'm getting, I see there's love there. And we're doing very loving things there. And the way we do that, and I didn't know, none of this is by design. This sounds right to do. And things happen itself. It's all art that we do. We have an idea and we start putting, paint on the canvas, and then, then that thinks of something else. And you can't think of the final. The final is always much different than what you started, particularly if you haven't been there before. And so now what I see what's happening is that members get so excited about doing this. They want to help other members for free. So I don't have to do anything.
Let's move on over to those learning goals. All right, folks, here's our learning goals for today. Understanding government aid. We want to demystify this. Empowering advocacy is our second goal. And the last is practical strategies for financial freedom. So that's what we're going to be touching base on, and that's what we're going for. You have this wealth of knowledge on these topics. So let's get started. Understanding government aid. What is the most unusual thing you know about government aid? What's the hardest part? And what's the easiest part?
The most unusual thing, I think if people don't realize it grows every year, no matter who's in town. Yeah, because it's all baked into the system. And it's baked in that it's up to about close to $20,000 every year that the government gives out to individuals every year. And it grows every year. It keeps growing and growing. So that's what I'm trying to get people to tap into. The problem is there's millions of programs. So people will say, well, I make too much to get a government grant. Well, for some, that's true. For others, it's not true. So anything you say about a government grant is true, and everything you say about a government grant is false. Because there's so many that don't meet that requirement, even though there's others that do meet the requirement. So, and I think that's all roadblocks that people stop themselves. Oh, I found out I make too much money for government. I'm not going to do that. can't do that. That's why I see, to me, Google perpetuates those kinds of things. And there's so much misinformation and everything. If you don't have income or money to spare, just stay away from Google. And there's options to learn the other system for that. So it's, God, I mean, how much money? It's just unfathomable, at least to me. Yeah.
There you go, folks. Let's talk about empowering advocacy. Can you share a story on how the advocacy has helped folks?
Yeah, you have to be your own advocate. It's funny, I just printed this out here today from a member. He says, I would like to tell people in Illinois to call the HUD number for questions. I finally became proactive and called on Thursday, and I reached a call center that HUD has outsourced this resource. I was pleasantly surprised when I had a very nice lady that took all the time I needed to get information on the 203K program. I wholly understand why Mr. Lesko says call. If I hadn't called, I would have never known about what this lady said were grants. I never said that I wanted grants. I just said that Mr. Lesko advised me that what I was looking for was help to make my bathroom safe. Okay. She went on to a great deal about the information available, and she had an email in my box that I could follow along with the instructions of how to do this. If you have a disability in Illinois, pick up the phone and they can help. She even told me that in November you can get a grant up to $35,000. And that on December, the grants will raise to $75,000. Thank you, Mr. Lesko. It was really helpful. Painless. She even referred me to another source of help that is where I get financial counseling and how to use them to get the process started for these grants. Don't worry about anything else and call. Mr. Lesko is right. There's help out there, but you actually have to become proactive as they're never going to come to you. Effort is involved, and it's worth the effort. She explained that I could get $35,000 grant, as she called it, and I begotten until the end of November, and then you could turn right back and apply for $75,000, and I'll do my. I mean, it's so hard. What I found is to get people to call the government. Nobody wants to call the government. They just have this fear, or whatever it is. And these are just people like you and me, your neighbors running these things, giving out money. And that's a big hurdle. I'm really shocked that people, they want to just go on the internet and fill out a form and have some money sent to them. That ain't going to happen.
I know my folks are very proactive, especially the West Coast and the East Coast and those in Florida. You know how hard you work. This information is out there for you. It's out there. Yes, and you know how to dig and you know how to work. I've seen you put out those bills. Thank you. Matthew, what are a few practical strategies for financial freedom?
Okay. Well, to me, it's finding people that we have, in the giving society, you want to find people in that part of our society whose job it is to help people like you. And they're available. A good place to start. You go to findhelp.org, findhelp.org. If you go to that database, that has, like for anything you have for living expenses, I mean, every zip code, I'll put in my zip code and I'll get 4,000 organizations that give out free money and help to people in my zip code. And it's not just one or two. Like if you have a problem paying rent in my zip code, I could put rent in there and I'll get 70 organizations that help people pay rent. 70, not one. See, people, if they find about a program, they'll call one and, they don't have any money, and they'll hang up. No, it's like getting a job. Somebody, you go knock on a door for a job and they say not hiring, doesn't mean there's no jobs. And the same way with getting money, there's just no jobs there. And other thing that people don't realize is that people are so important because, see, I got 70 of programs to help people with rent. If I went to Google, I would get 200 million. Yeah. And that you can't do anything with that. I mean, you'll call a few and then just, oh, God, this is crazy. And you stop this. But now you have at least 70 these in that 70 group help people like you. So it is even worth calling. And some are for certain categories, maybe for veterans or seniors and all different categories. And you call them anyway, even if you're not in that category, because that's your gold for research. These are people to talk to who in every day of their lives, they spend helping people get money for rent. So they're going to know programs that are not theirs, other programs, what's going to be in the future, and everything that you and I will never know. And they're a gold mine, and they theoretically get paid to help you. That's what the job is. Now, there's a lot of idiots that don't want to and things like that. You run into all that. So you just go on with it. But that's the gold mine. To me, that findhelp.org, everyone there is doing it. And if it doesn't have specifically what you want, get somebody close and talk to them. Because people want to help people. It's a human nature thing we all want to do. And they get paid to do it. So in addition to just being a human animal that want to instinctively help people, they're getting paid to do it. So, and to share their knowledge. I mean, that is just, I mean, that's, to me, it's like having an oil well under the ground that you didn't dig into. And it's going to dig into it and it'll sprout.
Thank you. Matthew, have I forgotten anything about Let's Go Help or any of the
Well, no, I mean, it's, I mean, what I feel about Let's Go Help is that I had no idea. I mean, see, to me, I thought it'd just be more a way for me to get my ideas out, stuff like that. But I just see the people are helping them. More important, like right now in Let's Go Help, we have probably 3 or 4 hours today of people will be live answering questions, and because they figured out how to do this. Yeah. So that's it. You call me, I've been doing 50 years. I can't relate to somebody just found out about government grants. But these people are just 3 months ahead of you, and they're so excited that they just found this stuff you want to share. And they can relate to someone new much better than I can. Now, here's another thing we're doing, which really amazes me, is that I was just, when I started this thing, I was trying, after everybody stopped buying reference books, I was trying to figure, how am I going to make money? I got a long way to live, maybe. And I was just hoping something that would create income enough to pay my bills and stuff like that. And I only wanted to charge $20. I didn't want to be. I used to charge $2,000 because fat cats would pay anything for this stuff. And because I was making millionaires into billionaires. They don't even need the money. What the hell do they do? So I want to concentrate on people who need the money. So I didn't want to charge more than $20. And even at what I found at that price, it's so profitable. I can't believe it. We're only a small company, but we give the profits back to members. We give $70,000 every month to members. Like in 2 days, we're giving out $40,000. $20,000 for rent to help people with their rent. So you just write one sentence that I need help with rent because that's enough. And we just choose to give out our $20,000. Then we give out 30 free laptop computers. So many people are trying to do everything on the phone, and that's hard when you're applying for things if you don't have a laptop. So every month we give out 30 laptops. Then on the 4th of the month, we give out $40,000 that you could get $500 or $1,000 to spend on anything you want. And then we have another $15,000 we give out on the 15th for car repair to help people. So many people can't fix their car and they can't get around, they can't go to work, and anything like that. So we do that. And I don't know, I got a graph here. I'm sure most people are aware that we create more millionaires in the United States than anywhere else in the world. So we're first, and then second, I just dropped that thing. China's second. So we have 24 million. China has 6 million. Japan has 3 million, and so on. But the other thing we're first at is not only making millionaires, making poor people. Of all the developed countries, there's like 30 of them, the so-called rich countries, okay? we're number one in the percentage of people in poverty. I mean, I just think that is just absurd. I mean, that is, how can we put up with that? Yeah. We made it, man. We're number one. Who says it's over? No, we're number one in creating poverty. I mean, like 17%. I mean, the average for all the developed countries is about 8%, 9%. So we're double the average, yeah. But we're number one, yeah. And that is another graph that to see what's happening in our society. This is wages, the total amount of wages that are generated in our society. And being from Michigan, you know this a lot. The red line are represent the 90% of the people. So the bottom 90% of the people, and the green line is the top 10%. So back in 1980, the bottom 90% got 70% of all the wages. Okay, and that sort of sounded fair. Rich people maybe get a little more. Okay, the rich got 30%. Now that has shrunk for the 90% and grown for the 10%, where they're now both pretty close to 50%. So to me, what's happening is 90% of the people in this country are getting a smaller piece of the pie than the top 10%. Their piece is growing and it's shrinking for the rest of us. And that's why I think just people are pissed. I mean, they call it inflation, but shit, you're not getting a piece of the pie and somebody's taking a bigger piece. I'd ruin your game too.
That's where Let's Go Helps really works. So I encourage all of you, go to the website and we'll list everything down there. Understand that you have to do the work. It's there. In organizations, call Matthew. Absolutely. Contact Let's Go Help. Absolutely, because this is your way. Matthew, do you have a shout out or a recognition to either individuals or an organization?
Oh, gosh. I just think people who are taking care of other people, without them, without the single moms in our country, God, what would we be? Without the people who are taking care of the seniors that can't get around. And it's all women. Yeah, they're doing all the important jobs in our country and not even getting paid for it. I was helping, I've gotten involved with the correctional system and helping somebody get out of jail early and being a sponsor there. I was a room full of all women, just me. I was the only guy. So who's helping the incarcerated as get it? Oh, again, women. Man, women are just doing the important work in our country. I mean, taking care of each other, taking care of the children, taking care of the people who lost their way and have to get back, man. It's women. And they're important. And I think maybe because they know more about life or something, I don't know. I'm not smart enough to know that. But guys just want to get stronger, faster. I think it's changing for the younger people, guys. I see a little.
Well, thank you. And thank you to all the women out there that are caregiving, that are doing their best, and single moms. Thank you very much. We so appreciate you. Matthew, this draws a closure to our podcast episode. I just want to thank you. You have made a major impact in the lives of many individuals for so long. And I understand that face, and it's one of humbleness. I can see it. So thank you so much.
Wonderful to hear. Thank you.
This is Dr. Beth Fisher with Unhoused USA, Conversations for the Future. Thank you for watching this podcast, your comments and your contributions. We appreciate you, and we appreciate you watching. And again, as always, bye for now.